Hello and welcome to another edition of the Get Growing Weekly Work Session with GetOiling. I'm Coach Ashley, and today we are talking about virtual vendor events. As you're coming in, please let me know where in the world you are on our little meeting here today. It's just me. Our team is quite busy this week. And Greg and family are traveling. So I am in New York City. Where in the world are you? Always excited to learn more about you guys and where you are and what you're up to. And I'm definitely interested in hearing from you guys if you have big plans for holiday season promoting, right? So if you're going to be doing any virtual vendor events like what we're talking about today, in-person events, what does that promotion look like for you this season? So looking forward to learning more about that from you guys as you're coming in. So yeah, don't be shy. Head over into the chat and say hello. Again, excited to have you here today. I do have some slides we're going to go through, and we will have some space to actually sit down and talk together, talk through any of the things that you're really wanting to learn or get figured out. And by the way, if you're new here today, welcome. We do this call every single Thursday at noon Eastern time. And this is for all of Team YL. So if you are not a GetOiling community member yet, we welcome you. We're excited to have you here. And what we're going to talk about today is going to help you to start thinking about how you can get more out of these events that you could either participate in or host in. And I should note as well that this is because of a request of Tina, I believe, is a member of our community, requested specifically wanting to know how to do something along these lines. So want to welcome you to actually reach out to us, support@getoiling.com. Let us know what you'd like to learn more about. Of course, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/getoiling. Join us in our Facebook community as well. And yeah, we're just always excited to work with you and have you here. And if you're here looking for help today that doesn't have to do with the topic of this video, stay tuned because we can work together at the close of this call. Just make sure that you're putting any of the questions that you have into the Q&A. It's going to be especially important today because it's just me. And so I want to make sure that I don't miss anything that you send out. So with all of that said, welcome. I see Arizona, Sioux Falls. Excellent. All right. So yeah, we're going to talk about online vendor events today. So let's go ahead and get into these slides that I've prepared for you guys, and then we'll get into some Q&A. And we can even do some show and tell as well. Actually, let me hop out of video. It's just better for the recording this way. All right, so today we are talking about getting the most out of virtual vendor events and how to use GetOiling to do it. So what we'll talk about today first is what they are, and then how to get the most out of them with GetOiling as a vendor and also as a host. Hello, good morning, welcome. You guys don't be shy, head over to the chat, let's talk. And then of course, we'll get into live help and Q&A. All right, so if you're here with questions, if they come up for you as you're watching these slides I've prepared for you, or if you have a question about something completely unrelated, you're welcome to ask your questions, put them into the Q&A. And if you watch this from a replay on YouTube later on, and you would like to join us on a live session like this one so that you can ask questions and work together here with Team YL, you can go to getoiling.com/weekly work session, and you can be on the list to know what we're teaching next. And of course, you'll be able to join the call just like this one and take advantage of all that we offer here. And if you'd like to work together one-on-one and you'd like to schedule that, you want to plan for it, you can go to getoiling.com/website review, pick a Thursday in the future that you would like to work together to review something on your site, or even just to get some help with getting started. You can do that here as well. All right, so question for you guys. You can raise your hand or let me know in the chat, yes or no. Have you been to a virtual vendor event? Curious what that looked like for you. If you've been to one, tell us what kind of event it might have been. We've got some not yets. How many of us, is this maybe a new thing? Maybe you feel like you don't know about virtual vendor events. Like, what is this? All right, I've seen a couple of yeses and nos. I've been invited but not attended. All right, well, here's a question for you. Have you ever been in a Facebook sale group? Right, and maybe maybe you're in a Facebook group and people are like taking turns and they're selling their products, right? There's definitely a lot of those in the network marketing space, and they're not always necessarily holiday focused, right? A lot of the times they're in Facebook groups. Awesome. Tammy says, I've attended. They aren't always my favorite, but I feel like they could be effective. So virtual vendor events, you guys, it can look like a lot of things. The most popular way, and really the simplest way, especially if you want to be a host, to do this is to use a Facebook group. And the reason why a Facebook group is actually really a good choice here, and I don't normally recommend Facebook or Facebook groups for a lot of reasons, but in this particular case, it's actually a really great idea because it's something that's familiar to the people who need to shop. They're probably going to be there anyway. And it's a great way to catch them while they're hanging out and wasting time already. Right. And so being that it's a familiar platform, there's not a lot of hoops to jump through for people to, go in and logically engage with something that's happening there. It is a platform of choice, but virtual vendor events take place in dozens and dozens and dozens of industries across the globe. And a lot of times they're held on websites, right? And what this can look like is you go to a website and there's a live event happening where if you go to pages, maybe somebody's streaming a live Zoom call to a page, or it's, event that's only going to have pages up for a certain number of days, right? Think about it like an expo or a summit. A summit would be an example of this, except instead of just having speakers, you have people who are selling their wares, right? So now that we're past that, we've talked about this a little bit, let's talk about this. So virtual vendor events are basically the same as an in-person vendor event or expo or fair, but hosted online. That's it. It might be in a Facebook group. It might be on a website. I'll give you a couple of examples here. Black Friday sales events and Facebook groups. I've got a client who does this with her team and they do so well with this, right? So, and very specifically, they do a Black Friday sale. So, this would be an example of maybe promoting an event where maybe there's going to be giveaways if you buy certain bundles and things like that. And then, of course, the team promotes it and it's all happening in Facebook where all of their friends and network connections generally are. Of course, there's a lot of folks like myself who aren't really on Facebook, but it is really great for numbers, right? It's good to get a lot of people into a place where they can get exposed to this kind of thing. There's also a great example. How many of you guys have been to aroma sharing online? For the past 3 years, I believe, we have helped aroma sharing, which you may be familiar with if you go to the big convention for Young Living in Salt Lake City in the summer. Typically, right before, for the last, I think, 7 or 8 years or so, aroma sharing has gathered together where there are oily vendors that you can shop before you go to convention, right? So we've helped aroma sharing take their in-person event online when we couldn't be in person. And even now that we're back in person with aroma sharing, we're also doing it online as well, because what a great way to reach people. So it is possible to have vendor events on a website platform because we actually host one right here on GetOiling. So let's talk about, most importantly, because the majority of us are not going to want to host vendor events, right? But we will talk about that. Let's talk about how you as a vendor, as a Young Living brand partner, can get the most out of being a vendor at a virtual vendor event. There's really 2 things that you need here. And it's really, these are the most important and really only things that you need, especially considering because it's not an in-person vendor event, you don't need tables, you don't need product sitting out, right? You don't need a bunch of stuff, right? Basically what you need is a lead generating offer and a promotional strategy. Yes, of course, if you're going to be doing video, then you might need to have some product on hand to demonstrate. Yes, if you're doing posts inside of a group, as a vendor, then you're going to want to have some nice images, right? Those are kind of givens. I think that's pretty obvious. But what you really need are these 2 things. You need something to catch leads and you need a strategy to promote, right? So first, let's talk about this lead generating offer. How many of you have one? If you're here, maybe pop your hand up. Let me know, do you have a funnel? Do you have a lead generating offer that gets people onto your email list, into your contact manager? So this is the number one, absolute most important thing that you need, whether you're doing a vendor event online or offline. Period. End of story. You know why? Because the greatest benefit you will get from any event you do is building your list of leads. Please know this. this is, if you walk away with this, if you walk away from this call with nothing else than this today, you will have been served. The most important benefit you are going to get, now it doesn't mean there aren't other benefits, but the biggest and most important benefit you're going to get from any event you do is building your list of contacts who may buy in the future. It'd be awesome if they bought right now, but if we don't grab the names and contact information and start building relationships with those people who crossed our paths once, who aren't ready right now, we have left all that money on the table, right? We have lost tons of opportunity to actually grow our network and build our business. This is a network marketing business. And so our number one goal is to grow our network, because our network is our net worth. And we grow from that network by identifying opportunities that are live right now. People want something right now, and we can serve them right now. And they know that we can because they know us. And if they don't know you, they're not going to buy from you. And if you didn't get their info at that event that they didn't buy from, then they'll never buy. But they will if you get their info and you stay in touch. All right. So think about your audience for this event that you're going to do, and what they would love to have and what they would happily give away their email address for. Now, when you're doing an actual vendor event, we're actually talking about products. We're talking about selling stuff. These are people who are in a shopping mood. People who are going to go to attend, be buyers at an event like this are people who are looking to purchase something. So this actually makes the idea of an exchange of, give me your email address and I'll give you this, right? It makes it a lot easier to figure out. So it could be that maybe you're giving away a bonus. Maybe you're giving an entry into a drawing, something like that, right? And this is actually, to go back to the example I gave earlier of like a Black Friday sale Facebook group that your team could run together. You could have all kinds of awesome, like oily accessories, or, just little things that you will sell, like you'll actually bundle in that people can get access to if they purchase certain stuff, right? So, but they, in this case, would need to sign up to get the updates, right? If they're going to get access to the free stuff that you're going to give away, they must give you their email address first, right? So the way that we're going to get this done is to create a funnel in GetOiling. Now, if you don't know what that is, don't worry. It's actually really simple. And I have a course that'll teach you how to do it in about an hour. Okay. And that's at getoiling.com/get leads. This is 100% free. You can actually get in here and poke around if you don't have a GetOiling account yet. You can certainly do that. But when you're ready, of course, it's going to actually show you exactly what to do to create a funnel for yourself. So create a funnel. If you already have one where maybe you offer some kind of a free thing, you could maybe use that. But I would really highly encourage you, because when you're doing a vendor event, it's not usually for a very targeted audience. I would go general and broad with this and just make a funnel where you are offering maybe your favorite, I don't know, fall weather wellness boosting tools. And so you could give them have some kind of a thing that you're giving away that goes along with whatever products you're promoting, right? All right, so now let's talk about a promotional strategy. Now that we know that we need to have a funnel, let's talk about how we promote. So first, we need to talk about whether or not the format for your virtual event is one where you're going live in a Facebook group, for instance, or you're posting on schedule, right? So maybe if you are a vendor at a virtual event, you're allowed to post at noon and 6 and 9 or something like that. In this case, if you're posting information about what you're selling, what I want to encourage you to do is to, before you do anything else, create a page on your GetOiling website. You can use the template for a link page, like a link in bio or link tree kind of page you would use on Insta, or one of our brand new templates, the My Favorite Things template. We do have trainings on our YouTube channel that go in depth on how to modify both of these, but they're pretty straightforward. Right, so use either of these two templates and then include basic product information about what you're promoting and selling during that event. So let's just say, for instance, this is a vendor event that is spa day every day, right? And that's, everything is sort of spa themed, self-care themed. And so what you're going to do is decide on what products or product lines you're going to focus on during this event. And then you're going to gather this information. So basic descriptions, your own stories or other testimonials from folks in the community, images of the products themselves, and then leaf links, which this is, and we can actually go and show and tell here in just a bit, but we have a special link in GetOiling where you can take a URL or a link to any product in Young Living on their website, and you could paste it into this little form and it'll spit out a unique link that will have your member number and sponsor number attached to it. So if somebody's not a customer and they purchase that product from clicking that leaf link, they're automatically yours, right? Automatically your customer. And so instead of using links to Young Living products directly in the Facebook group, what I want you to do is create a page that has the collection of these links, right? Using the link page or my favorite things. Really recommend my favorite things above all else, because it's going to be better for you to actually put more information about the products there, right? People aren't just going to go, oh, she said that in a video, let me click straight to a thing and purchase it. A lot of people are going to want to see or hear or learn just a little bit more. So use the My Favorite Things template and gather and include this basic information on that page for the products you're going to promote during that live event. And then I would encourage you as well to include a pop-up on the page. So use the lead, or rather the lead generating section of the page where you can enter a form and you can put your lead generating offer in there, same as you would use in your funnel, your landing page for your funnel. And then of course, wherever you post, and if you're using texting campaigns, which I'll get into in just a minute, you will link this page, right? So just to recap here, if you know that your strategy for a vendor event, an online vendor event, is going to mean you posting images, copy, and links inside of a Facebook group, your call to action needs to be to click a link that goes to a page that we're talking about here, not straight to Young Living's website with your number and everything attached to it, not your Young Living referral link. Page on your website that has all the products you're featuring during that event, little write-ups, your own testimonials and stories if you've got them. And then of course you use the links to Young Living off of that page. We do this for two reasons. Number one, it looks more professional. It looks nicer. So if we say, go to my page, suchandsuch.com/sale or /event or something like that, then they can pull up a page that's got all of this great stuff. It's got your connection. Maybe you put a little about me at the bottom of it so that they can learn more about you. And then of course you have the opportunity to collect a lead, which you don't get to do otherwise. And again, most important thing you can do at an event is not sell something, because more often than not, you are going to speak to 10 times more people or have 10 times or 100 times more people pass you than who purchase. If we can get a good fraction or percentage of those people who pass by or who don't purchase onto your list, you've got a fantastic opportunity to grow your business moving forward, right? All right. Now, if your promotional format is video, this is going to be a little bit different, right? So if your promotional format, like you can go live in a group, for instance, we're going to do things just a little bit differently. Of course, you should have some of your own product, maybe demo, unbox, talk a little bit about whatever the thing is that you are showcasing. But what I want to encourage you to do is to use the text feature with GetOiling. So you create a campaign in GetOiling and give it a text in code. And that code you're going to talk about in the video. You're going to say, send the message blank or send the word blank, whatever, to this number. You can speak that out loud and it's easy for somebody to do. And of course, that information could be included in the post. And double cool, what happens here is this person is now in your GetOiling system and they're a lead. It's someone you can follow up with after the event, which is super cool. So if we're showing and telling in a video and we say, hey, text red to 555-1234 to learn more about this product and get access to my exclusive discount, we are going to be getting a lead and we'll be sending them information either about all of the things I'm offering, which would link to that page, or in this case, you would be sending them a message that maybe has the leaf link straight to the Ningxia product that you're talking about that's coded to you on the Young Living website. But you could also include, great educational information about Ningxia Red, right? Because now we've got them. We've got their info. We can send them stuff now, right? They said yes to hearing more from you. So that's an example of what this might look like for a text-in campaign. So the text-in code in this case for your campaign would be the word red. And then whatever your campaign message is that you create, the text that would go out is going to send them the leaf link, right? So an example here would be text the word holiday to my GetOiling number to see all the products that I'm featuring this week and get my discount. So in this case, we would send they would text us to our GetOiling number with the word holiday. And if we have this campaign set up this way, they're going to receive an email, or not an email, a text message that's going to send them a link to that page that we just talked about in the previous slide, which is pretty cool. And so in this case, the text-in code is holiday. The campaign message is going to send them to your GetOiling site, a page on your GetOiling site with that information and links to purchase the different products. So before we get into how to, what it means to host a virtual event, I've got a Q&A here real quick from Shelly. Could you create a vendor event and keep it virtual permanently? Yeah, you could, but I think part of the benefit of having a virtual vendor event and having live events, just generally speaking, one of the main benefits of going through the trouble and having those is because they are time sensitive. If people know and believe that something is available all the time, then they may choose to say, I'll do it later. And what happens when we say we'll do something later? It doesn't usually mean it's going to happen, right? So, so there is a benefit of it not being perennially available, right? So you could do it depending on what you're trying to do here. There's relative degrees of whether or not it might be a good idea or the most effective way to spend your time. Okay, and then if you use the My Favorite Things page for an event, then you want to use it for a different event. Would this just be for a specific vendor event, or would you copy the My Favorite Things page and use that format for each event? That's a really great question, Shelly. I think it's going to depend on how much you personalize the page that you create. So if you're creating a page where you're featuring products for horse owners, for instance, and you would go to multiple, equine events, right? You might go to, I don't know, you might show up one where there's, a chiropractor is leading it, another one where there's like a horse magazine or something like that. If the audience is going to be the same or relatively similar, then you could certainly reuse a page like this. It's really going to depend on what your kind of strategy is. If it's, if it's a virtual summit for women and you're a vendor for it, and maybe these are professional women, high functioning women who are typically also like super high stress women, you're going to have, you're not going to give them the horse list, right? So it can behoove you to reuse where the audience is the same for the event. But if it is different, then you're going to want to create a different page. All right, so let's talk about how to get the most out of being a host for virtual vendor events. So first, let's talk about what you'll need from an organizational perspective. Because obviously, if you're hosting, you got to be on top of your stuff, right? So the first thing that we need is a vendor registration funnel. So literally for the people who are going to be vendors, if you're hosting, we need to get them all in line, get them notified of everything they need to know. We need to take payment from them if you're taking payment from them, and so on. So what you're going to do is create a page on your GetOiling site that outlines the event and offers registration or an application to register for vendors, right? Think of this kind of like a sales page, but for vendors. You want to sell why this is going to be so awesome, why they should pay for a virtual table in it, and so on, and create a page that gives all those details, dates, times, how it's going to be hosted, etc., right? The campaign that you attach to this page, because you are going to be taking payment, or at the very least using the lead form on this page, the campaign here would confirm that they've registered or that they've applied. We want to make sure that the tag you use on this page has the event name and the word vendor in it so that we can distinguish between the attendees and the vendors. And then you may want to use an automation on this page to attach a follow-up plan to any contact who registers on it so that you can stay on top of what you need to do and make sure that person does as a vendor, right? So you can get what you need from them. Because obviously you're going to need to make a listing for them, for instance, or list their name and their website in some kind of materials that you use for promotions. So you're going to need to get things from them. If you've got a list of those things, add that to a follow-up plan so you can make sure that you get what you need from everybody and you've got those check boxes in place for you on their contact card and GetOiling. Also, sending them reminders, making sure that they've joined your Facebook group that you'll be using for this, reminding yourself to adjust permissions so that they can post and go live, etc. Right? So use your follow-up plans to make sure that all your to-dos are taken care of and applied to the correct people. And then, of course, when they register to be a vendor for your event, make sure that they're tagged correctly and that you have some kind of a confirmation message that's going out to them. Now, let's talk about how we communicate with vendors. If you're a host, first, make sure you've got a saved reply. Saves you some time. Use it as a template for sharing individual vendors' posting schedules. So obviously people can't all go live at the same time. And you're not going to be sending the exact same email out to everyone, but if you've got 10 vendors or something like that, then you do want to at least have a template you can work from. And then you can modify that template to let this person know that they go live at 2 on Saturday and the next person knows they go live at 6, right? And then you can create a date-based campaign with reminders for posting dates and guidelines and so on, right? So just keeping your vendors apprised. If you are organizing something, you may know this already, but if you don't, understand that people, even with the best intentions, even the smartest people, are distracted. And we can behave very absent-mindedly. So the more you remind, the more likely you will get the outcome that you're looking for. And if you're wanting this to flow seamlessly and for you not to be stressed as an organizer of an event like this, you do want to make sure that you're dripping those reminders on people, because if you just send one email, people are going to miss it. Just don't worry about bugging them about this. You are in this for their success, because obviously they signed up as a vendor because they want to make some money and you want to help them do it. So make sure that you're really being clear about that with them. All right, now let's talk about what you'll need for promotion if you are the organizer of a vendor event. So first, you need an event registration funnel. So just like if you were a vendor, then you would want to have a funnel to capture all of the leads of people who might be your customers during the event, but definitely might be your customer after the event. In the same way, you want to capture as many people as possible who may attend this event as an organizer, because we know that not everybody who RSVPs is going to show up, right? But if they saw it and they thought it was a good idea, we can't expect that they're going to remember it's a good idea in 2 weeks. But if we grab their information, then we can just be dripping on them and make them so excited with email or text or however you'd like to be in touch. And of course, you'll have that higher likelihood of a bigger turnout. So what you want to do, again, is create a lead generating offer to build an audience, right? So create a funnel. That's getoiling.com/get leads, and then tag event name and attendee. So make sure, again, we're differentiating between a vendor and someone who is showing up to see the vendors in this case. In this case, you could actually offer a drawing or a giveaway. Maybe you've got a grand prize. If you've got a big event where lots of different people could be shopping, you do want to have something where you can grab as many names as possible, as many emails as possible, so that you can get as many people in front of those vendors as possible. And the cool thing too, is that this lead generating funnel that you're offering, you can give that link out to all your vendors so they could be promoting as well. And then, of course, you'll promote entry into this funnel for several weeks. I would say a month, sometimes even more, depending on the size of the event and how you're doing it prior. You want to get people excited about this. Minimum 2 weeks, I would say, ahead of time for everybody to be promoting this thing. All right, now let's talk about event marketing. So how you actually market this event to people who register. So what we want to do is create a date-based campaign that will count down to the event's start date. And of course, you can shout out and feature your vendors, engage your audience here as well. And then when the event starts, you can send out daily live broadcasts via email or text to feature your vendors, to talk about their show times when they go live, et cetera, during that event. And then you can host a live at the close, either in your Facebook group or even on Zoom, to announce the winner and, of course, have your giveaway. All right. Now, one thing I will note here, you've probably picked this up so far, hosting a virtual vendor event, it's a lot of work, but you can systemize it. And if you plan to do something like that on an ongoing basis, if you want to create an annual event, a regular thing, a thing that would make sense to invest in infrastructure for so that you can do it again and again, that is a case where I would recommend that you consider setting it up with GetOiling. Right? If you're just kind of doing a one-off and giving it a try, put your toes in the water, start as a host in a Facebook group. It will give you a better idea of what most people expect. And then you can try to improve on that experience by creating something on your GetOiling site. It is a big undertaking though. Just want to be perfectly clear about that. If you're trying to get something ready before the start of the holiday season, I would say at this point, unless you feel absolutely incredibly savvy and confident with using tech to get all of the moving pieces together, I would encourage you to just use a Facebook group and then use what you learn from the Facebook group to make something better and GetOiling in the future. So let's get into live help and Q&A and maybe even some demonstration of some of the stuff that I've been talking about with you here today. And let me get into the questions first here. So Ilka says, if I might not do virtual shopping event, can I use this for a promotional offer? Yeah. So you can create a promotional offer anytime. So if you go to getoiling.com/get leads, that's where you can actually create an offer, right? That's where you can create something that you can give away for free. If it's something that you want to sell, then all you have to do is add a payment option to that page. And so that's actually a course. It's very beginner friendly. Don't worry, it's not complicated, and it's totally free. So I would definitely recommend that you check that out. And then that would be, on your GetOiling site, and you'd be ready to use it. Sheila, I thought Young Living doesn't allow you to be a host of an event with direct sales competition. That is not something that I was aware of. And I think and thank you for sharing that. So anyone who's considering hosting an event, I would encourage you to check in with compliance and make sure before you get yourself into any issues that you double check with that. Thank you, Sheila. Sometimes what this might look like for you as a vendor, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're doing a vendor event that has other direct sellers, right? You could be the only direct seller at the event, and maybe you invite a chiropractor or Reiki practitioner. If you want to do like a little wellness fair, you could host that. And if you are having people apply for whatever is going to be at their table, then you can basically say, there won't be any, well, you don't have to say it, but you can limit who's there based on, or you can curate who's there based on what you'd like to have there. And of course, keeping in with compliance. Let me go back over to our Q&A here. How to include a payment method or button for them to click and pay. So Ilka here, I'll get into a screen share and we can kind of walk through this here. So where you're going to want to go is to getoiling.com/get leads. And this is where you're going to actually sign up for the course. Once you're in, you're going to be able to access the course in the members area. And let me get myself logged in here. Perfect. And so if we go down here, it's right here. It's this lead generation workshop. And so it's quick and easy. And what you're able to do here is work with templates that we've already created for you. And it's all really simple and easy to get done. Really, really, really simple. So basically, once you're in, and let me actually get out of share here real quick because I'm not in the Jane account yet, and I need to be. But what we're going to do is in your pages, once you've got a page created, so let's just pretend that you've got a page where you're offering something that you want to sell. It's in the page settings. So here we go. Now I can share. Okay. So what we're going to do is under pages, here's actually, I don't know if this is, no, that's not it. Here we go. Are you crunchy landing page? So I think this actually might be one that we give away. But you can see, here's the landing page, get my guide. So in this case, maybe you want to, have something that you're selling. There's a price of a thing here. So once you have your page done, which you have to create the page first, right? You got to go into the getoiling.com/get leads, create the page. And then you're going to go into settings. And then under payments, you do have to make sure you have a payment processor connected here. But once you do, you have the ability to create payment plans. And if you go and you click help and we type in payment, here we go, custom page builder, lead capture and payments. There's actually videos and step-by-step visual instructions on exactly how to set up a page like this to take payment for whatever you'd like. Let's see if somebody's just getting started with, so if you go to GetOiling.com and you click on the pricing and features tab, ILCA, you can actually see all of our plan levels. And if you want to see even more of them, let me see. Scroll down here. So many things, more plan options. Click on more plan options and you can see that you can actually start with us for as little as $7 a month, depending on what your business needs and where you're at. Awesome. Let's see. Let me get into the chat here just in case I missed anything. Where do oh, leaf links. Yeah, let's go take a look at leaf links. Number one, if you go into, just go into the dashboard over here, click this little question mark and you can literally type in leaf link and it's going to say adding a link to a Young Living product and it walks you through it. But here, let me show you. So let's just pretend, oops, let's just pretend we're going to, I don't know what just happened there. Every time I update my Mac, there's always something new, something new and crazy with Safari. Okay, so just a second, I'm going to get back into the Jane account and then I'll show you this. So first you want to make sure that you have a link from Young Living. So I'm actually going to do that as well. And I'm going to get a link to, what am I going to get a link to? I'm going to get a link to Digest. All right, so I've got that page pulled up and I think I am back in the Jane account. Okay, perfect. So let's go and I'll just show you an example of creating just the beginnings of creating a page like this. So if you go to create page, we're going to scroll down here to my favorite things. And this is where you can, in this top section, say, hey, I'm so excited to, share these deals with you this week. And then you could even put like a little button here that can link to the lead form where you can capture a lead on this page, whether they buy something or not. Obviously, if you want to use the categories, definitely do reference our previous training on modifying this page. But what I would do here is I've got Young Living. Here's Digest Vitality. We'll use that one. I'm going to, I've got a trackpad. This would be a right click on a mouse, but it's 2-finger click on a trackpad. I'm going to save this image to downloads. I'm going to copy this text. And then I'm going to head back over to this page. So this is Digest Vitality, although I would recommend that you maybe consider something a bit more clever than just using the product name, where you could maybe talk about the benefits, because people aren't going to know what Digest is and they're not going to care, but they're going to care what it's going to help them have or do, right? So let me see. I could call this, I call it like my 2-second solution to all your, I'm not the best at compliant language off the cuff, but anyway, think about the benefits you get from Digest, be compliant in what you share. But basically what we're going to do here is put any information in here that we want to share. Testimonials are definitely ideal. And then the call to action here is we're going to create a leaf link. Soothe digestion is good. Definitely. That's a fine one. But okay, so here's what we're doing. I just hit enter a couple of times, right? Just to give myself some space here at the bottom. We're actually going to delete what we're about to do. But here's our leaf link, or our leaf button right here. So click that. And then I'm going to go and copy this link from Young Living, paste it right in here. Right now I have it. I'm going to copy this link because now it's going to have your enroller and sponsor information in it, right? And I'm going to unlink it and I'm going to delete it because I don't want it right there. It's not cute. But we can say it goes right here and we're going to say, get it now, and hit update and hit done. Camelia, where do you put the testimonials you just spoke about? I would put them right here. So whether, I don't know. So I would talk about, you know, you could share a story. Anybody have a digest story that you could compliantly share? Like I've got this buddy who thinks that, you know, anything that's natural is just hippy dippy, whatever. And he rolls his eyes at everything I've ever recommended. But there was this one time after we went to this really great restaurant, he came back and he was just like, oh, I feel like I swallowed a pipe or something like that. And I rubbed it on his belly. And a couple of minutes later, he looked at me and he was like, whoa, what's in this? This works. You put that right here, right? Just right in this section. So that basically what you're doing is when somebody arrives here, they can see the product, and you have probably made a post about this inside of the group, right? Or you have demonstrated it in a video and you're giving that call to action, you know, to text this so you can go straight to the page that's got all the info, or you could say, you know, click this link and then find the product and they can find it here. So how is it linked to me just because I copied the Young Living URL? So I'll show you one more time. So what we're doing here is we're copying the Young Living URL. That's not what's going into the button. We're clicking the leaf link. We're pasting the Young Living URL into this field, and it's giving us a new link. And yes, it does have the Young Living link in it, right? There's that Young Living link, but it adds this to the end. So Carolyn, it will now be linked to you if you take this link and you put it in this button. Right? So now this is linked to you. It's going to Young Living's site, but if that person's not a customer and they purchase, they're now going to be your customer because it came from your link. The leaf link does it for you. Yes, that is the whole point of the leaf link, is to send them to Young Living when it's time to send them to Young Living, but it's going to have it coded to you. Now, when we did the training on this My Favorite Things page, we also talked about how to use the wish list feature for this purpose as well, which I highly recommend that you do. Maybe you put it up at the top. You say, hey, you want to get everything I'm talking about here? Click here. And then you could take a wish list link and send them and have that send them straight over to add everything to their cart, which would be really cool, right? It'd save you a ton of time, wouldn't it? Awesome. Let me see if there's anything else. Do you overstuff at mealtime like me? He's your best bud. Digest. I like it. So yeah, you can put the description and the testimonial in the same area. Just note, Camelia, note whatever context you've already given about this product, right? So if you're in the group and you've posted already, and maybe they've clicked something where you've talked about this, yeah, you can have just a little bit of both here. Why not? So in this case, this could be a unique blend for tummy troubles. And that's a perfectly fine thing to put here. And then you could say, here's a story, right? And now you're giving it something compelling. So there's the product name. Here's, you know, just a real quick layman's term, layman's terms sort of description of it. And then here's a testimonial or product story. And you may even include in this testimonial product story, and actually I do kind of recommend this where it's appropriate and compliant, that you give the way it's used. Right. So if I were to use that story, you know, I always have some in a roller bottle in my bag because I've got autoimmune issues and I never know what's going to flare me up. I always keep some in my bag. And so when my buddy was like, oh boy, heartburn again. I don't know if you can say that. I'm not a compliance expert. And I'm not like a promotional brand partner here. But, you know, but I can say I handed him my roller bottle with some of this in it and voila. Right. Anyway, a lot of different options there, because you could say I put a drop in my tea and then again, be compliant. But yeah, use this space as a compelling place to connect with that person and make them really see that, oh, wow, I should consider this, right? And then when they click here, they'll actually be coded to you when they go to purchase. Does anybody have questions or anything that you would like to see or learn how to do based on what we've talked about here today? Open season here. We can work on this together or in anything else that you guys are working on getting done. By the way, if you haven't done this yet, if you go to aromasharingonline.com, which you should, everyone here, please do this. Go to aromasharingonline.com and join their mailing list. Join the mailing list so that you can actually see what they do. If you're interested in potentially having a vendor event online, take a look at what they do. We're a sponsor right here. And actually this is up through all of this year. So we did have some special things that were happening during aroma sharing that were only during the live event. Whether that be when we were doing this live virtual, right, which was here. And then of course, we were live in person in Salt Lake City. But then, part of the deal for this was we'll just keep this up for the rest of the year. So this is a great example if you want to look at, being sort of a host of something like this, take a look. But again, if you're going to host, be mindful and make sure that you aren't violating any of the PMP and compliance. Rebecca, what would you do if you're out and about, meet someone interested in general wellness and want to capture their info and lead them to a private Facebook group? Okay. I would just have a general, like a landing page on the website. It's like, get my updates and join my group, something like that, or join my community. Maybe you have to get a special invite. Maybe it's an invite only. Give it some kind of air of exclusivity, right? Join my community and, or enter your information here and you'll get an exclusive invite to join our community. So I would just create, in that case, here, I'll just go back over here and share. All right, so if I go back to our dashboard. Okay, so you could use just a landing page for this, keep it really simple, or you could use a custom page. And so what you would do here is you would have, maybe a cute little image, right? If you wanted to, and then you would say, this is your exclusive invite, put your information in here, you'll be on my list or whatever. And then in the settings for this page, just make sure that you're sending them a campaign that just at least has one email in it that says, hey, it was so nice to meet you. I look forward to having you in our group. Here's the link, right? And then you can, you got different options, send them to, a confirmation page or straight to the group or whatever as the redirect. And from there, once you have this page created, what you could do is you could create a shortcut link for yourself. And we've talked about that before. If you go to pages here and just create a blank page, you don't have to do anything with it. And you go to advanced and you auto forward to that landing page, whatever you call this up here. So maybe that's group. So if it's yourwebsite.com/group, if this says group, that's what this will be. And that'll forward to that landing page. Another thing that you could do is create a campaign, a text in campaign. Let's go look at that real quick because we haven't looked at that today. You can create a text in campaign. And this would be join, invite to join Facebook group. And this would be the same. What we'll do, the text and keyword here will be group. We'll create the campaign. And then in the first message, we would want to add link to Facebook group, right? And then, so now you have a couple options. You could say, hey, you could go to my website, suchandsuch.com/group, or you give them your GetOiling number and you say, just, hey, take out your phone real quick, put this number in and text the word group to it. And then they'll get a text from you automatically that'll have that information. So a lot of different options there, but definitely have a thing that can capture their info, and that'll be a good look. Good question. And of course, if you're for the vendor event, this would work similarly. If we're creating this campaign and maybe this is, we're going to call this Ningxia red from vendor event. And this would be learn more about Ningsha, or cannot type, Ningsha red. And then this is going to be red, right? We'll hit save changes here. And then the first message that we'll create, maybe this would be, so first, actually, let's go over here and let's type in Ningsha red. Voila, let's give this one. We'll copy this. We'll make a leaf link. We're going to change the text of the link to click here, right? And so we'll say, hey there, so glad you are looking to improve your wellness. Here's more info on the product you learned about at whatever the event name is. And then let's click here, right? Voila. So we send that off. We're going to add the message. Oh, oops. I'm actually going to put that. Just kidding. I'm going to copy that, put it down here in text because this is a text campaign. And what we need to do in this case is we're just going to copy this guy, recreate our leaf link because I was not thinking about that. I was always doing email. So we'll hit copy link, go here, and just paste that in. This is going to shorten here. So that's basically it. So now, all right, perfect. So add message. So now what you can do if you have this, if you text red to Jane's GetOiling number, you're going to be sent a link. And in this case, it goes to the leaf link, right? You could also send them to that My Favorite Things page here. So that's what this would look like if you were going to use a texting campaign. And so maybe you're on video and you're demonstrating product. Here's my thing. Here's what it does. By the way, if you'd like to get my discount on this and you want to learn more about this product, text red to 555-1234. Right? And so they do that. And now they get this campaign that sends them to the page that they need to go to. All right. Got another question here. Good questions today, guys. You could even use this campaign for new premium starter kit members because they have the red samples, right? Yeah, totally, for sure. Although to be fair, I love a lot of the pre-written like onboarding campaign stuff that's already there for starter kit folks. If they just get the PSK, the let me find it real quick here. We have a pre-written campaign that actually satisfies that beautifully for new customers that buy the PSK. And then I know that if you use any of our content partners, they generally have some really good stuff that focuses on the PSK as well, because that's still most of the world is focusing on that as a point of entry. And it's still it's one of the best points of entry for someone who's getting started with Young Living. So if I go to our campaigns here and I look for, let me see, if I scroll all the way, if I go to the end, I think it's all the way at the end. Yeah, built-in, it's the built-in campaigns. See, no campaign, new customers. So here's like the USA new customers one. So this actually is like already pre-written, which is pretty cool. And this liquid wellness one is about Ningsha. So yeah, so that's already in here. And it's something I would encourage you to go in and read and look at no matter what plan level you're at with GetOiling. This email is going to show seed to seal. It's going to talk about logging in. It's going to talk about getting started, going beyond your first order, getting, ready for getting into our subscribe to save and all of that. So definitely take advantage of this because it's already made for you. And then of course, if you are a customer of Grow Workspace or of, any of our other content partners, like the Engagement Source, who makes content for GetOiling now, and their stuff is amazing. You can use theirs as well because they tend to have content partners in the Young Living space tend to have really great onboarding tools, generally speaking. Awesome. All right. Well, guys, do you have any more questions before we get going? Tell me if you have learned something new today, if there's anything that maybe wasn't clear to you that you want to have recovered or that you'd like to learn more about. We've got just a few more minutes before we need to go. I want to invite you as well. Maybe let me know as you're kind of thinking, going through this, Is there anything else that's coming up for you that you feel like, you know what, I could do it if I knew how to blank? What would that be? What do you feel like you are missing? That's standing between you right now, seeing what you can do and you getting it done. What does that look like for you? Is there a campaign for someone who buys selected items and not a premium starter kit? No, no, but you could build a general Welcome to Young Living campaign. And to be fair, I do think that the new the USA new customers one may actually have, I think it has been modified to fit that potential there, where someone maybe didn't buy a PSK. And some of our other, like, for Singapore new members or, other markets, you're going to see that it's more PSK oriented. There's so much already made that I don't know how to use campaigns. Can I watch a video on this at a snail pace? Yeah, actually, what I would encourage you to do, the best place to start if you're trying to take it slow is right here. So if you want to learn about campaigns, start with these articles that are right here. And then even more importantly, if you haven't done this yet, let this be one of the first things that you do. Create a contact that is you. If you aren't already in your system, right? Create a contact for yourself. Create a campaign as you think you would like for it to go out and send it to yourself. See what it looks like. Test this stuff. Try out these things that we're talking about and use yourself as a test subject. And then you can actually go in and see what it will look like when other people are engaging with it, right? So just start one thing. And honestly, there are so many things you can learn and do in this platform. You should really start with the stuff that's relevant and important to your business right now, because you could learn everything, but then when would you actually have the time to build your business, right? So learn the thing that's material to what you need to get done, and that's going to help you. But if we go to this little help section here, there's so many great articles in here that allow you to kind of move slowly. Of course, if you're more visual, loads of training on our YouTube channel. That's GetOiling. Sorry, youtube.com/GetOiling. Let me see, Rebecca. Sometimes what stands in the way for me is knowing you taught about what I envision having and then finding the steps to actually do it. So generally speaking, it's hard to put like a step-by-step in place for every single thing, because so much of what you can do with us is customizable. But, for instance, this is why we have courses, right? So the Get Leads course, if you don't have a funnel yet, go to getoiling.com/get leads. I teach you in every course that I've created for this and our other platform, I teach methodology, step by step, one foot in front of the other, right? There's a lot of training you can find out there from experts on the internet who will fluff you up with a bunch of really exciting, inspiring knowledge of big picture stuff and then say, good luck when it's time for you to go do it, right? It's frustrating, especially when you feel like you don't know how to put all the pieces together. When you get into my courses, which on GetOiling, they're like all free, you guys, you can actually follow things in the correct order of operations, right? So for instance, if you're going to create a website, which if you go to, let me go show you where you can get access to this. If you want to create your website, stuff that people can see, I want you to go to My Account Settings and go to the Brand My Business Workshop, because you don't need to create a homepage for your website if you don't have the other back-end things created yet. And if you don't know what those are, we already made them for you, right? And you just have to modify them and do them in order. You could do them out of order. You're just going to you're going to waste a ton of time and get really frustrated, right? So, oh, thank you, Jenny. I'm glad you like that. All right. So yeah, so don't worry. And also Rebecca, if you ever feel like you need that, just shoot us a quick question. And you could very specifically, if you'd like to, let our team know, hey, I'm trying to do this thing. Can you give me an order of operations? And you could even say, Ashley told me to, and then they could tag me in our Slack channel and be like, hey, how does this person do this thing that they're talking about? And I can even give them, the answer to give you if you want to do that. By all means, just reach out. We're here for you. What did I say to read? Oh, Rebecca, I think it was probably this guy right here. So just click the little question mark to open up the Help Center. And there's some great articles in there. Okay, just starting out, I have difficulty with the computer. You make it look so easy today. Well, I thank you. I'm not naturally a tech person, believe it or not. The tools that we have are easy enough to use, that you can learn to use them, and they can solve most of the problems that you have in the general management and communication sides of your business. Are the YouTube trainings linked to the help area? Sometimes, Rebecca. Not all the time, but a lot of the time yeah. But the other thing too, if you don't know how to do this yet, let's go to youtube.com/GetOiling. This works on laptops and desktops. I'm not 100% on tablets, and I've struggled with it on phones. If you go to a YouTube channel, you can click this little search bar and search campaigns, and you can see that there are lots of trainings here on campaigns. So you can do that as well. What else? You just start with setting up a member area, launching that. Can't see a little more pictures to choose from other than the ones that are already there. If you feel like you're having an issue with that, please reach out to support. You want to definitely make sure that you're not uploading images that have too large of a size. So you'll often find when you're trying to upload images for different places on our site, there's a place where you can hover over and it'll give you a suggested resolution size. From there, you can click the Canva button, put that resolution size in, and now you've got the right size image to use in that place on the website. How do you send a campaign to yourself? All right, Shelly, 2 ways. Good question. 2 ways to do this. Number 1, you go to your contact. And you, let me find me. You go to your contact, you click it, you go to bulk actions, and you find the campaign and you apply it, right? That's one way. And you're going to get it exactly as that person would receive it. If it's 28 days, you're going to get 28 days of emails. Your other option is to go into campaigns, and then you're going to actually click on the individual message, and then right here, send preview email to yourself. But you would do this for each of the ones. Oh, if you want to speed them up. So if you want to just like send them all to yourself really fast before you ever send this to anybody, don't put this out there for anybody to see when you do this. Go to the campaign details, and then you could send it by minute, or easier, you could actually go over to the campaign itself and just set all of these to day 0, right? And then you would just get all of them right away if you wanted to like see them all. But in this case, if you've already gone through the trouble of setting this up, like unless you have a number in the subject line of the email, which is not really the best thing to do, you can maybe put that there as a placeholder so that you know what goes where when it's time for you to set it back to correct. But either way, you could just, send the individual ones to yourself. If it's about the formatting, then that's what you're going to want to do. Awesome. Good questions, you guys. I think there's just a couple more in the Q&A. I do not have access to our support channel, Ilka, so we'll definitely want to reach out to them. And they are very busy in the inbox today. It's why I'm just here and they are not. So they are making their way to you. All right, how do you speed the, okay, there you go. Perfect. You got it, Shelly. All right. Great questions today, you guys. And for those of you who are coaches and practitioners, I hope that you are signed up for Attractwell's office hours. We'll be live there, or I today will be live there in an hour talking about, we'll be talking about client agreements and contracts, how you send and receive and store those with your system, which of course, if it's something I teach on Attractwell, you can use it on GetOiling. And I know a lot of folks here aren't just brand partners. You also have other things that you offer and sell as a service or as a product. So if you guys want to join that, that's attractwell.com/office hours. And yeah, look forward to seeing you guys then. And in the meantime, have a great week. And let's start planning these vendor events. And yes, Rebecca, Attractwell is on YouTube as well. That's youtube.com/Attractwell. All right. Take care, you guys. I'll see you next week.